Hello guys, this is Shorty and today we're going to be talking through the new features in FIFA 14. Now we're going to start off with the new Pure Shot edition. Now I'm going to start off here, which is the new player intelligence and ball physics within Pure Shot. The way players shoot and the way the ball moves has been transformed in FIFA 14 with many different ways to strike the ball, creating not only more realistic goals but better ones. It combines good timing, anticipation and positioning, and that will reward you if you can get all three of them right. It will reward you a lot with great goals. For example, the Cisse one against Chelsea last season in the Premier League. And now players adjust runs and speed before striking the ball. Now they will try and set themselves for the best possible chance to get the ball in the back of the net. But if they don't have that chance, on occasions they'll now take a rush shot. It will have a lot less power and accuracy, but it will be in time to avoid a defender's challenge. Now also there were some visual glitches in FIFA 13, for example, where your striker's legs would go through his other leg and it just goes straight through, which is of course impossible, or foot sliding. Now in FIFA 14 with the new Pure Shot, that has completely disappeared. Now also real ball physics have been introduced to the game, which now enables you to hit, for example, a low driven shot that will rise into the back of the net, or hit a swerving shot like the 2010 World Cup balls used to do. And it also lets you hit a dipping shot that leaves the keepers no chance if you hit it right. And all of this is not to say, in previous years where the keepers were underpowered, I did say it would leave a keeper no chance, but they're not underpowered as much this year. However, in the early stages, that is how I felt. Until the full game does come out, none of us will really know. But where near post shots, the keepers never seem to save them. This year, they do save near post shots. They save a lot more shots, to be honest. It's a lot harder to get the ball in the net easily. You do have to strike the ball well to actually beat the keeper. Now, not only has shooting been a revolutionary change, the movement of players isn't too far behind either. With precision movement, players now carry more momentum when in their strides, making slower and more powerful players, for example Lukaku or Ibrahimovic, even more worth a look at in FIFA 14. Now players can change in any direction when sprinting. This has not been the case in previous years. When you were sprinting, you couldn't just sort of change 90 degrees, 40 degrees. It was around the 20 degrees mark you could actually change when full sprinting. And when you do change and when slowing down, the players will now take additional steps to slow down. It is all of this combined with the foot planting, which sees players every step planted onto the pitch, which has dramatically changed the pace of the game for the better, in my honest opinion, though, because in Ultimate Team it has dominantly been all about which team has the quickest players. Like for example last year in FIFA 13, Wellington was just, if you had him in your team, if you came up against him, you knew you were in for a rough time. Even though pace is still hugely important, it will not win you games like it did last year. In my opinion, it is now the taller, stronger players that are going to do that for you, like the likes of Zlatan, Ibrahimovic and Lukaku, as I just mentioned a minute ago. This is not to say the likes of Messi and Neymar, however, are not going to be as good. Talking about these two players, for example, both are very good. Both give the team a flair which few players in FIFA 14 can give, which last year a lot of weaker players could give you just because they were quick. Now you're going to need that sort of talent of Messi and Neymar to give you that flair. And as long with Messi's finishing, as it's so high, players with his sort of finishing, I think his stat out of Ultimate Team is 97. It will devastate players on Ultimate Team Online. He has the agility and balance also that he possession. If any player possesses the same agility and balance and the stats that he has on physical, strong defenders, even though they will outstrengthen him runs, they will find it very hard just to take the ball away from him, because he can shield them off, and when they push him to the ground, he stays on his feet because of them stats. Now, with all of these new features, you can pretty much dictate and control the tempo of the match, which is very interesting because you've never been able to really do that before. Even though it said that you could, it wasn't really effective. In FIFA 14 it is effective. You can completely control the tempo of the match. So if you wanted to play sort of slow, realistic build-up play, you can now do that. It's very realistic if you wanted to build up from the back and pass it forward on the attack. So build-up play attacking-wise is very realistic. You can keep the ball at the opposition's end of the field. Like if you wanted to play like Barcelona, that is very well, it's a very realistic opportunity to do that now. Now, FIFA 14 could turn out to be a battle of possession, however, until the full game's released again, it's quite hard to tell. It depends how people play online, because I haven't found anything that's really overpowered in FIFA 14 yet, but once the game's been released for a month or two and you play a lot of people online, you'll start to see there's probably going to be something overpowered, because there has been a few things every year, so it's not likely to change. There's only so much you can do, and there's likely to be at least one thing that is. Now, also new to FIFA 14 is the improved AI intelligence. If you've ever wanted to play like Barcelona, like I mentioned before, like the smooth type passing in FIFA, well, you can now do that, and you'll love FIFA this year if that's what you want to do, because that's exactly what I tried doing FIFA 13. It did work a bit, but you always needed that bit of pace just to get past people sometimes. And attackers will now keep onside much better. They will check runs to confuse defenders and wrong foot them, so they can't just quickly change and catch you up. And centre forwards actually now play a more vital role in a squad if you have one. They will now push back into defenders, chest the ball down, bring it to the floor, and they will sort of give your team time to rush up the field, and it will create space, and they will happily play the ball into that newly created space. Now, defenders. In FIFA 13, to say it as the best I could, they could be horrific. They would leave wingers wide out, open in space, and they would only mark the attacking players that are sort of closest to them, leaving the pacey wingers just to run through on goal. However, in FIFA 14, they now track runs. They know where to intercept a long through ball, putting a last-ditch block in when an attacker seems sure to sneak in behind the back line. It is now much better, as you can no longer concede as many goals, I'd say, which when you look back at them, you'd sort of think no professional team I'd watch, sort of even lower league, would really concede that in real life. So that has sort of been stamped out of the game, as well as they're probably going to do it. It's pretty good now for sort of that. You can't just pace your way through. I've mentioned this a bit earlier, but Ultimate Team also has new features. They're very, very exciting features. Chemistry styles have now made their way into the game this year, along with squad customization. First off, chemistry styles will make every team unique. You'll never again come up against a team that is the same as yours, even if they have the exact same 11 players on the field. You can now use a chemistry style for each individual player to suit how you want your team overall, and individually how you want them to play. There will be attacking style, to choose from, for example, which will slightly increase the attacking ability and stats of your players. You can do sort of defending. You can make ones that will up the passing stats of your players and defending stats. Depends what you do. Different chemistry styles take up different stats, and the amount it takes them up by varies depending on what chemistry style you have. More into that when FIFA actually comes out. I will cover all of that in videos. I will get in the game on the 20th, a week early, because I have a season ticket. So as soon as the day it comes out, I hopefully will cover all of that in a couple of videos. Now, if you like seasons in Ultimate Team, then they have been welcomed back. However, they have also been enhanced. Instead of 5 divisions going from Division 5 to Division 1, have you ever wanted to go from Division 10 to Division 1? Because you can now do that. You can now start in Division 10, well, you have to start in Division 10, and you now make your way up from 10 to 1. The prizes, the sort of coin prize you get last year, they haven't said what they're going to be from Division 10. You might be able to make money easier, or they might have sort of balanced it all out so you still make the same amount at Division 1. They haven't let on to what them prizes are going to be, but you can also win players and items like you could last year. Now, most players have asked for this, and it's finally being delivered. Improved transfer market on Ultimate Team. It is now possible to search for players by name and see them in your team before you buy them. You can put them in. You can sort of go to a player in the market. You can, instead of bidding, there is now an option to see him in your team. You can put him in the position that you want him to play, and it will tell you what his chemistry will be, how he'll link with other players, and you can see if he'll be the perfect fit. Now, however, the only worry I have for this is by searching by name, it could make price fixing, where it will make price fixing certain players a lot easier, because before you couldn't really price fix that easy players that had a lot of the same nationality in the team. Now you can search them by name and you can buy all of that player. So that is only one downside to that, but hopefully it won't be too bad. Now, another new feature in Ultimate Team is Loyalty. Loyalty is a new player that if a player is received from a pack, they will automatically get a Loyalty bonus. However, if they are brought from the market, you'll need to play 10 games to receive this Loyalty bonus with them. Now, I'm not quite sure, however, what this loyalty bonus does completely. Again, that will all be covered in a video the day FIFA is released, and I get it. Now, with squad customization is also a new feature. Now, what this does, you can now pre-match, before you go into the match, you can now set your kit numbers for certain players. I know not everyone really wanted to do that, they weren't bothered, but some people were. Now you can now do that, and you can also do this, which is a set piece takers. You can set them, like before last year, there's a glitch where I had my Iker Casillas was taking my corners for some reason, and before changing them in game, I always forgot, and I'd usually end up taking a corner with my keeper, and it did cost me a few games, even though it was quite funny. Now, this is probably one of my favourite, if not the most anticipated at least, feature that I am anticipating for. It is on FIFA 14 is new co-op seasons. It's a very simple idea. It's just head-to-head seasons that you could do online, where you just played with your team that you selected before the game and played someone else. It's now 2v2. You go into the lobby like you did before, you set up your team like you did before, but then you invite a friend from your friends list. When they join the game and they are ready, you can search for a game and you'll play someone else who's playing with their friend, and you can just play them. And this isn't just a game, single matches, it is seasons. You go from Division 10 to Division 1 with your friend, and each friend you play with, you have different sort of divisions for, different games saved for, so you don't have to worry about only being able to play a season with one person on your friends list. You can do as many as you like, have as many different saves as you like, so that is fine. Now, one of the last features I know for Ultimate Team is single matches are back. I'm very, very happy about this, because seasons, it did leave me in Division 1. A lot of people were quite sweaty, if you know what I mean. It's where they sort of, all they were pace. There was no real players. I preferred much to play in Division 2. I'd get myself relegated on purpose, to be honest, just to play in Division 2 because it was funner to play, and I wasn't that bothered about coins because I had quite a lot to spend anyway. So single matches are back, yeah, and I'm pretty sure that is the old matchmaking, where if you have a silver team, you'll now get to play other silver teams. You won't have to have sort of a silver championship team like I had, which I think are fun to use, but every game I'd come up against a gold, sweaty BPL team, which was very annoying. So hopefully now I'll be able to use sort of also my Brazilian silvers. I'll be able to come up against other Brazilian silvers and sort of play a proper game of football. So I'm very excited about all these new features. I hope you are as well. I hope you've learned something, or I hope I've helped you in any way. So please like, subscribe and comment. And this has been Shorty. Thanks for watching. Peace.